Hey, Starbo with Rock 100.5, KATT, the KATT, and the Midnight Metal Meltdown, joined right now by the legendary Cavalera brothers. I got Max and Iggor. Max, Iggor, how you guys doing?
Good, man. Great, good to be here.
Talk to us about the tour, man. You guys are out here to play the Roots album in its entirety after 20 years, man. Tell me about the experience and what led to you guys decide to do that.
It's kicking ass, man. We're loving it. It's so fun to play the whole thing entirely. You know, we even got songs we never played before. Which is really great. You know, Igor does a version of It's Sorry, which is drums and tribal noises and Indians, and we do a new version of Look Away. We do a kind of bit of vocals, camouflage a little bit because they're guest songs, you know, and then there's the stuff that we always love to play, the classics, you know, Roots, Bloody Roots, Attitude, Stray Hate. They're classics, you know. Cutthroat, yeah. Right. People love it, you know.
Yeah.
They're singing everything, man, which is amazing.
Can we expect to hear anything else outside of the Roots album? Are you guys going to play it like in song order, front to back?
We do that first. You know, it's a block. I think it goes. I think it's like an hour, right?
Yeah.
Like a whole hour is the Roots, beginning to the end, just like the record. Like if you're in home and put the record on your CD or your iPod or your album or vinyl. Preferably do it on vinyl. It's a little bit better. Yeah,
it's got that more organic
cassette with
sound.
a Walkman.
Sure.
We play live just like that, on that order, and then we get out of the stage a little bit, cool off. We come back with Procuration of the Wicked, which was a B-side of the Roots era, which makes sense, you know. And then we do a little version of Ace of Spades. It's kind of cool because Motorhead is where the name Sepultura comes from.
Right.
So it's connected to that.
Yeah, going back to the roots all the way.
And then that's about it. It's like an hour and 15 by the end of the set. So it's pretty cool.
Was there any plans at previously to do like Chaos AD or maybe even like a Rise at any point, or maybe are you looking to do that in the future? Yeah,
that's something that we can wait and let it, you know, organically become, you know, if the right year comes and we're ready to do it, we'll probably do it again. But this has been a fantastic experience. I think it's really cool to at this point of your career to be able to go back and look at an album like that in retrospect and go all over and go back to the album and redo it all over again.
Like
it's really
revisit some stuff that we never had a chance to play live.
Right.
I mean, so a lot of those songs never had a chance for us to perform. So that's also a really cool challenge when we had to go back, me and Max, listening to the tracks and figure out what we did in the studio. Of course, like songs like Roots or Attitude, we've been playing through the years, but there's a few songs in the record where we were like, man, this is cool. And now playing those songs, it's almost like, wow, we're almost missing out on them. You know, it's so much fun to play some of the stuff that it's cool that we have a chance of playing everything without skipping a note.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a cool. At the beginning, sounds crazy. When we start rehearsing, we're like, oh my god, this now. It's almost to the point where it's like, wow, it's getting so tight and so much fun doing it that it is a cool thing to play a whole record from back to back, you know.
Some of the things that you guys are mentioning, you know, incorporated a lot of, I guess you could say, Brazilian indigenous influence as far as musical instrumentation and things like that. You guys have also in the past, where, you know, especially Max, have incorporated a lot of, like, say, world music. Your list, by the way, of people that you've worked with in the past is gigantic. So that being said, is there any plans moving forward to cut another record that is much like Roots or like any of those earlier stuff that you did in Soulfly that kind of incorporates a lot of that?
We don't really have a master plan. We never really think that far advanced, you know. So it's kind of, we're just enjoying the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Right now we're on the Roots tour, which is great, and we want to do the best we can for this tour right now.
Yeah,
you know?
And also the cool thing is, like, just like you said, or Max, this can be an influence for the future, but at the same time, right now our focus it's 100% on this. So maybe when we stop to do the next Cavalera, by doing this Roots, revisiting this stuff, we might be influenced to go back and try some crazy experimental stuff. Where so far, every time we sit down to write Cavalera stuff, it's been very raw. We love the raw power, just going in and going like very minimal. But who knows in the future? We don't know. The only thing, we're very inspired right now by what we're doing on stage, and that's really cool.
One thing I've always kind of wondered, and I was a pretty big fan of this band when you guys were involved with it, was Nail Bomb. Any plans as far as that's concerned, you know, in the future? Is there a chance ever that you guys would do anything on the industrial side of things?
No, probably, you know, if it is, we'll be influenced by Nail Bomb on our own stuff, maybe a Cavalera, a couple tracks that would be like, you know, influenced by that, but Nail Bomb is actually over. It's really official. We're finished, you know.
Sure. Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about like bringing Nail Bomb itself back, but doing Nail Bomb type music.
I won't even call Alex. You know,
really?
That's out of the cards. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of cool. Like Igor said, he thinks it's cool because of that. Because we followed through. You know, we didn't broke it and went back again. Years later. And we're not doing it.
And you got the one performance too, the live performance.
That's it, man. You were there. You were not. You missed out.
It's on YouTube. You know, we got that anyway.
You know,
very cool. Sepultura. You guys were kind of talking. I don't want to sit there and dive into what you guys think of Sepultura now. I do have kind of a question. I've read around and couldn't get a clear answer. How is Sepultura? You know, being that you guys both started it in 83, 84, how were they able to continue moving forward with the name Sepultura, given that you two were the only original members and started the band? How does that work out?
Yeah, that's kind of it gets complicated.
Yeah, it's tricky because it is, everybody knows that me and Max, we came up with the name and the whole thing, but at the same time, like, we both at one point we didn't feel like doing Sepultura anymore. So it is a tricky situation that in the future we hope we can make it sort that out, but as it stands right now, the only thing that I can say is that we're really happy doing Cavalera and not worrying about Sepultura and then bringing back the whole thing. It's best. It's under the bridge, you know. So our focus is what we're doing right now, and that's very, very important. You know?
So the next record moving forward for you guys collaborating, would it be Cavalera Conspiracy then?
Yeah, the next record me and Igor will do together. It'll be and will be cool because we want to spend more time with this next Cavalera record than we never had before. So big pre-production, couple months advance jamming, you know, to get it the way we never. Almost every Cavalera we just go in the studio and bang out, you know. Right. Like, and it's cool.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I loved it. Yeah. So
it gets a lot of explosive stuff, you know. There's a lot of like crazy songs that just comes out on the instinct, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, doing something like this, like the Roots is doing to us now, also makes it think like there's other ways to make records, and some of our records were made like Roots, where we spent a lot of time on one record, developed through the months, and we never gave Cavalera Conspiracy a chance to do that. So we might try that and see what happens with that. You know, that might be totally cool, and then we'll have the option of doing either way. You know, and then another Cavalera records we can do it the instant formula or the little slower, you know, pace formula. But I'm looking forward to the next Cavalera record. I think it's gonna be great. It's our 4th album. Pandemonium was crazy. We went back to the underground. Right. It was fun. It was awesome, you know. But I think me and Igor can really stretch our influences and our you know, musicianship, because we've been on this for so long. You know, it's like, it's cool, man. And when you have that much career behind you, that you look forward to create something new. And there's always some magic between me and this guy that always happens, you know, sparks. You know, we're looking forward to that. You know, eventually, at some point, we're gonna get to do that. And but this, we're having fun right now with this tour. This is an amazing tour. It's amazing to go back on an album like this and play the whole thing. It really made me kind of really think that you know, there's a lot of cool stuff on this album that I didn't even notice until we start playing again. You know,
that we just kind of like forgot because it's been so long since you've actually played it. Right?
Roots is a heavy ass record. People got distracted by the tribal stuff, the world music, Brazilian aspect. Right. If you go down to listen to Spit, Stray, damn, man, that's
really heavy.
Some of the heaviest shit we ever done.
For my part in it, and talking to people about this record leading up to this interview, or just as a fan of metal, was that was a big portion of what everybody loves so much about Roots, was the world music aspect of it or whatever. Something for you, Igor, actually. When it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, still practicing that? And the listener was kind of curious as to whether or not it led to your ability to drum or vice versa as far as the conditioning was concerned?
No. I mean, I did a lot of Brazilian a few years back. Even before like the whole UFC thing got big.
Sure.
I was really into it. Like we got to do stuff actually on roots. We did a video with the Gracies, and I practice a lot. Nowadays I don't practice that much because it does take you, like a lot of time, and also you do have a few injuries by doing it.
Sure.
So like right before a tour, if I get like my finger stuck on a gi or something that can.
Right.
So I'd rather take it easy, but I still enjoy watching a lot of not jiu-jitsu, but in fights in general. Like I love seeing like the new styles, the progression of fighting and things like that.
Well, it's certainly blown up, especially BJJ, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere now. Everywhere that you go in every city, there's tons of dojos or gyms out there that teach it. So, I was just kind of curious about that.
My son is a big fan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Speaking of your sons, you got a big family, man. So,
All of us.
and you guys are touring pretty extensively with family. Your son has played for you in Soulfly. I've seen got Lodi Kong and Inside as well. What's it like to have everybody from the family on tour and do stuff like that?
It's really fun, man. It is kind of a family atmosphere. Even in this bus right now, we have Gloria and Jason's here, and even though Zion and Igor are at home and Igor's kids are at home, sometimes it's cool we got to bring all of them, and I think that's the funniest. That's the coolest when we got to bring all of them together. Hopefully in the future we get to do more of that, because that's when it really clicks, and it's so fun to see them hanging out together. But at the same time, I'm very happy and very proud of the kids that decided to do that, play music. It's a really and Zion turned out to be a pretty good drummer, and he's a lot of influences from his uncle here.
Sure.
And got a lot of tips from him too, and which is really good. And he's very devoted, very practice a lot, which is cool. My oldest son Igor is a bit more like me, really into heavy stuff. Listen to a lot of the nastiest extreme metal that is, and we click on that area, Whereas I listen to more hip hop, which is like, it's weird, but it's cool for the drumming point. Yeah. Igor said that's really cool, for him that he does that, So.
Was there ever a time for either of you as fathers that you felt like maybe you kind of wanted to steer them away from the metal life, if you will? Because, I mean, as a lot of people have kind of figured out that are involved in the industry that, you can make a decent living, but metal doesn't pay. Not like, say, how pop or hip-hop does or whatever else. Yeah. Did you guys ever feel like you wanted to kind of steer them away from that?
Not at all. I mean, for my part, I think it's up to the kids. They need to figure out what they want to do, and of course it's just about support. That's what we had from our mom when we started, so we try to do the same. And if it's skateboarding, if it's whatever, we have to be there to support. And then at the same time, if they choose to follow some of the path of things that we did, we're there too. So I don't think it's up to us to try to divert their things from our own experience. They live to live their own experiences, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is whatever they choose. As long as they're happy with it, I have, my stepdaughter Roxanne. She's going to be a lawyer she's going to school to be a lawyer, like a divorce lawyer, which is crazy,
Right.
Yeah, it's like wild to have one of those in a family, and
it's the one time that like being dad is a black sheep in a family, because your family full of metal,
man. And then with my Zion and Igor, which are my real kids, they all got into music, which is really cool, but Igor also likes to write novels like Stephen King type shit, which is cool. I hope he followed through with that and keep doing that, because that's a whole different world. We actually went to see Stephen King talk in New Mexico. He invited me to go with him, and it was really cool. The guy is awesome.
He's hammered out so many novels. Like, I mean, it's amazing too. And
it's cool that his kid also writes. So there's parallels, between what he's doing and what we're doing. He's passing the torch to his kid, like we're passing to our kids. Which is really cool. I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
with all the different people that you've collaborated with in the past, and even just like the varying styles of music that you've incorporated into heavy music, you know, everything that you've done, what are you listening to right now that still inspires you to write music and to keep doing it? You know, I mean, is there any band out there that's kind of like newer to the scene, the metal scene in general, that you're really into?
There's always people pushing forward, pushing the envelope.
Max can be here for a day talking about.
Yeah, I like a lot of new stuff. I like listening to a lot of it. And
I was stoked to see a Legion on this tour as well as Combi Christ. You know, I mean, again, an industrial act. So.
It's a bit different from what you expect for touring with Roots, but it's cool. You know, it's like I think it adds to the package, because I love this kind of package tours, because I think the more metal you give to the fans, the better of a night everybody's gonna have. The more music you witness, the better it'll be for everybody, you know. I think there's a lot of stuff, like Full of Hell is doing great stuff, pushing the envelope with the Body, and
they're my favorite right now. Those two bands, The Body and Full of Hell, it's like insane. Like they're really doing like stuff that but going noisier and deep into this whole crazy world, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I listen to a lot of kind of black metal on the side too. I like a lot of, especially Polish, like Batushka and Mgła, and there's actually a band from Norway I discovered that I really like it. They did a cover of Funeral Rites. I have to show it to Igor. I haven't shown him. It's good. They call it Yurgo. It's a really weird underground band. But they did such a cool cover of Funeral Rites, which is from our Morbid Visions album, that made me think that, man, that album was actually cool.
Right.
They made it sound better.
They made it sound better than what it was.
Sure.
You know, it's like, damn, this is really cool shit. So I tend to listen to a lot of that and a lot of kind of... Nails. I love Nails.
I was just thinking about them when we were talking about newer bands. It's kind of crazy to see how that band has crossed over. You know what I mean? I mean, because they are so heavy.
Yeah, they got that kind of napalm death sound combined with hardcore. Todd was in Terror, so he's been around. So he adds, I think, a lot of the...
you worked with him before, too.
Yeah, he worked on the last Soulfly. And one of the coolest things I saw was the documentary of their new album that they were doing.
When a Nuclear Blast put out on YouTube.
And the drummer, his only influence that he mentions is Arise. It's Igor drumming. You know, like
that's awesome.
It's hands down for him. Like that's as good as it gets. And I think that's really cool coming from a band that we like.
Sure.
To that they love. They pay respect to what we did back in the day. You know, so it's really cool. You know, I love that.
Final question for you guys. I mean, it's on the heavier side of things, and you can feel free not to answer it. But, today in America, there's a lot of things going on socially and politically. And most recently, here just, a couple days ago, out there in Tulsa, Terrence Crusher got shot and killed by police. Is there a lot of that going on for you guys that you feel like you want to speak out in any way, shape, or form, whether it be through your music or even just through, your ability to have a voice in the media?
It's mad times right now. Like it's... Not saying that it wasn't before, but the only thing I have to say right now that scares me a lot. There's a whole wave of people being a bit more right-wing and being less tolerant with things. That really scares me, because our whole life we fought for stuff like being free and accepting people through through punk music, to metal, to whatever. And now it seems like it's almost like kids are thinking it's cool to be the other way.
Right.
Be intolerant and be racist and things like that. So for us, that's quite scary. I just wish, like from our voice, what we can say is that people open more their mind. That's really important, and not be just one side or the other.
Yeah, I think you see that a lot of that in the metal world. That's really, I think it's really cool, because we see a lot of different people in the crowd mix, coming from all kinds of backgrounds,
including us.
And like we're Brazilians and we're here touring, and we see black kids on the crowd, we see Hispanic kids, Indians, natives, and we all get along, and like Igor was saying about Pokemon was actually really interesting. He was talking about the game.
Right.
In Israel, there was like Palestinian and Israeli kids playing together.
Yeah, they actually
Through
there were. I heard that there's some kids crossing the wall to play with the Israeli kids.
Oh, wow.
Not caring about like the whole shit that's
religion
going on right now.
Didn't concern them, you know, as
Yeah,
far as
and they're pure enough that they can do that and without. So it's almost like it's a bit freaky, but maybe music or something like this can break those barriers and they can be like chilling. You know, maybe
in a
metal
world
can do that. You
Yeah,
know?
in a world that you can watch the news and feel intensely cynical about, those are like little stories here and there that kind of give you hope and something to hold on to.
And it's kind of like for me, it's a weird position. As much as I hate police brutality and all, I have friends that are cops, you know, and so it's really like, man, you know, you wish you could, you know, be like, you know, I'm down with cop killer and all I did and all that, but at the same time, I have friends that are cops and they are out there every day, you know, and they're fans of metal, and, you know, so it's really, I mean, I'm sure there's a group of cops that really sucks. They're assholes, and, you know.
Sure.
That bring shame out on everybody, you know. But
that's like everything else, right?
Right. Yeah. You know. So, I don't know, man. It's a really strange time here with this Trump character. You know, scary actually. I never seen U.S. like this. Even talking to our friends and stuff, you know, it's like.
So intensely polarized.
Yeah, and some people are really, you know, thinking, like Igor was saying, it's the right thing to be intolerant and racist and all. It's okay to be. This guy's given an okay green light for that, you know, which is wrong. You know, I don't think that's what being America is about. You know, we're Brazilians, but I've been here long enough to know that's not what this country is about. You know, so. It's like a melting pot here, just like Brazil. You know, we're all kinds of different people live together and have to.
Yeah, because otherwise,
if
you're gonna go that path, you gotta give to the natives, and everybody needs to get the hell out of here. So
exactly.
That's a pretty fair point. I mean, I've made that argument several times. It's like if the natives ask for it, you know, Native Americans, give it to them.
If you're really gonna go deep into this, it's up to the native Brazilians, the Native Americans. And whoever's complaining about people crossing borders and doing things, it's like, come on, man.
It's always been
it's
been a pretty ludicrous argument to me to try to close down American borders when we are a country built on immigration.
But at the same time, times like this are really good for music, you know. So I think a lot of
anger,
a lot of angry music is going to come out of this, which is good, you know. People gotta get their voices out. It's good. They need to be heard.
Thank you so much. Max Cavalera, Iggor Cavalera, playing tonight at the Diamond Ballroom. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.